Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Graphic Jam, Graphic Novels Book Buzz Part 2. I'm Sarah Hunter, editor for Graphic Novels and Books for Youth at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Links to today's slide presentation and title list are available. You may ask for the links in the Q&A box, and we will be happy to share them with you. You will also receive them in the follow-up email tomorrow. If you have any trouble accessing these materials, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a button for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we'll pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. If you are hearing an echo, please check to see if you have two Zoom windows open. Closing one of these windows will remove that echo. We apologize for this technical glitch and are working with Zoom to fix it. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the Captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, you can select Show or Hide Captions from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting Caption Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Diane Mangan, Director of Trade Sales and Marketing at Andrews McMeel, Jasmine Normal, Children's Education and Library Marketing Coordinator at Simon & Schuster, Danielle Presley, Marketing Associate at Penguin Random House, Katie Sains, Director of Sales Book Market at Oni Press, and Jen Chan, Executive Director of Sales and Marketing at Fantagraphics. First, we'll hear from Diane. Diane is the Director of Trade Sales and Marketing at Andrews McMeel. Diane has been in the industry for many years, working on both the bookselling and publishing sides of the business. As a buyer, she specialized in children's books and now on the publishing side works with adult and kids titles. Even after all these years, she still loves putting books into readers' hands. Thank you for joining us, Diane.
Thanks, Sarah. And hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all for joining us. Let's get started. If your adult graphic novel readers are looking for the next breakout voice in comics, introduce them to Beetle Moses. Creator Harris Fishman, better known online as Beetle Moses, has become one of the fastest rising names in webcomics. Often described as the far side for Gen Z, Beetle Moses delivers surreal, standalone comics that are equal parts hilarious, philosophical, and unpredictable. One panel might feature a thieving gorilla, another a deeply introspective fish, and the next an alien pondering the absurdity of modern life. The jokes are quick and shareable, but many linger long after the punchline, rewarding repeat reading. This hardcover collection gathers the creator's most beloved comics while adding more than 30 pages of brand new material unavailable online. Here's an online review quote that I think does a great job of describing Beetle Moses. Beetle Moses is basically what happens when you take the DNA of Gary Larson and mix it with modern internet brain rot in the best way possible. It's smart, it's weird, and it's beautiful to look at. Books, Iced Coffee, and a Side of Dragons is a cozy graphic novel that blends romance, fantasy, and community into one irresistible package. It's the graphic novel debut of USA Today best-selling poet Amanda Lovelace, whose work has sold more than 700,000 copies across her best-selling collections. Set in a charming Jersey Shore town, the story follows Lucy, the owner of a struggling bookstore inside a converted lighthouse, and Aster, the trans woman who runs the coffee shop next door. When the pair rescues a tiny wind dragon, an enchanting summer romance begins to bloom. It's warm, hopeful, and filled with the kind of emotional authenticity readers are looking for. With gorgeous artwork by Raquel Treve and strong LGBTQ+ representation, this is an excellent recommendation for readers who love Heartstopper, Legends and Lattes, or who loved the Tea Dragon Society as kids. Lovelace's graphic novel debut is cozy, sapphic, and genuinely charming from start to finish. Low stakes, big feelings, and art that makes you want to read it twice. If you're looking for a graphic novel with proven demand and broad crossover appeal, My Giant Nerd Boyfriend is an easy recommendation. Based on the hit webtoon with more than 800 million views, it's one of the platform's most popular ongoing series and now arrives in print for the first time. The story follows creator Fishball and her towering 6'5" boyfriend, now husband, as they navigate everyday life, from anime marathons and gaming to pets, snacks, and the little moments that make relationships special. The humor is warm, relatable, and genuinely laugh out loud funny, with expressive minimalist artwork that lets the emotions shine. The first volume launches a planned 3-book series and focuses on the early days of their romance. It's a comforting, funny read that's perfect for Gen Z, millennials, and anyone who enjoys wholesome relationship comics. Mobu's Diary is a delightful graphic novel debut that blends the charm of a comic strip with the emotional warmth of manga. Mobu is an anxious, introverted calico cat who decides she's tired of being a pampered house pet and gets a job at a cat cafe, despite the fact she doesn't actually like interacting with people. What follows is a funny, relatable story about anxiety, friendship, and finding the courage to step outside your comfort zone. Created by internationally acclaimed illustrator Kathy Lamb, this English language edition includes exclusive bonus content, including an author interview and a gallery of her animal illustrations. The humor is universal, but beneath the laughs is a genuinely heartfelt story about connection and personal growth. Recommended to fans of A Man and His Cat, Cat Plus Gamer, Pusheen, and anyone who enjoys cozy, character-driven graphic novels. Birding is My Favorite Video Game is a perfect example of a graphic novel that's as informative as it is entertaining. Rosemary Moscow, creator of the beloved Bird and Moon comics, uses humor to make birding, biology, and environmental science accessible to everyone, whether they're lifelong birders or simply curious readers. This revised and expanded edition features a larger trim size, over 80 comics, and 16 pages of new material. Moscow's comics combine laugh-out-loud observations with fascinating science, earning praise for making biology approachable in the same way XKCD makes math fun. Recommended to fans of Field Guide to Dumb Birds of North America, Effin' Birds, and readers who enjoy science comics with personality. Now on to our children's list. Kingdom Unraveled, a closely knit graphic adventure by Mariana de Mercurio, is an exciting new middle grade title that blends epic fantasy with a truly unexpected hero. Perfect for readers who love Amulet but are ready for something fresh. This full-color adventure follows Jo, a 70-year-old woman living a quiet village life with her knitting needles and a love of nature, until a mystical guardian names her the kingdom's next champion. Suddenly, Jo is thrust into a quest to stop a mysterious evil spreading across the land. With her sharp wit, quiet strength, and the help of her snarky companion Roy, Jo must do what no champion before her has been able to do: save the kingdom and her family. We love its celebration of an older protagonist. Jo is deeply relatable. Many young readers will see echoes of their own grandparents in her, and the story gently reinforces themes of courage, intergenerational connection, and the idea that it's never too late to be the hero. Enola Holmes, the graphic novels book 3 by Serena Blasco, brings back a proven favorite for middle grade readers, especially those who love mysteries with a strong, independent heroine. Now fully on her own in Victorian London, 15-year-old Enola is running her own detective business and tackling 3 compelling cases, from missing persons to puzzling disappearances, all while going head-to-head with her famous brother, Sherlock Holmes. Each story offers intrigue, clever problem-solving, and a satisfying sense of justice. My favorite story of the 3 is The Case of the Mark of the Mongoose, when a missing publisher leads Enola into the competitive world of Victorian books and printing. Doom and Gloom, The Worst Is Yet to Come by Darren Henry and Jane Walker is a wildly fun, laugh-out-loud graphic novel that's perfect for younger middle grade readers who love a little mischief with their humor. The story follows Doom and Gloom, 2 delightfully devious cats who are determined to build their own evil empire. The only problem? Their former villainous boss is no longer in the picture. Now on the hunt for a new mastermind to serve, These self-proclaimed agents of chaos keep running into one major obstacle, Petunia, their former boss's relentlessly cheerful, animal-whispering niece who insists on adopting them. What unfolds is a fast-paced, episodic adventure full of outrageous encounters, all wrapped in snappy humor and expressive full-color art. But beneath the silliness is a story that gently explores themes of found family, friendship, and making the right choices, even when you're trying very hard to be bad. Treasure Island offers a fresh, accessible take on one of the most enduring adventure stories in children's literature. This full-color adaptation stays true to Robert Louis Stevenson's classic while presenting it in a format that's ideal for today's middle grade readers. We love its distinctive kawaii-inspired artwork. The expressive cat-like characters and vibrant illustrations make the familiar story feel completely new, while preserving all the excitement of hidden treasure, pirate mutiny, and Jim Hawkins' journey from ordinary boy to unlikely hero. Readers will meet Jim, a young boy who discovers a mysterious treasure map left behind by an old pirate. Hoping to rediscover the buried fortune, Jim joins a voyage aboard the Hispaniola with a group of sailors and adventurers. The adventure leads to hidden coves, dangerous confrontations, shifting loyalties, and a thrilling hunt for Captain Flint's legendary treasure. Along the way, Jim discovers that true riches aren't just gold. They're found in bravery, integrity, and choosing the right path when faced with temptation. Detective Beans and the Map of Mystery is the third adventure in one of our favorite series. If your young readers are asking for more after Dogman or Investigators, this is an easy recommendation. In Book 3, Beans, an aspiring kid detective, discovers a mysterious treasure map that leads him and his best friend through amusement parks, secret tunnels, pirate ships, and plenty of clever twists. Creator Li Chen combines the irresistible artwork, laugh-out-loud humor, and engaging mysteries that reward observation and problem-solving without ever becoming too intense. Finally, I have 3 new titles in our popular graphic novels for early readers. These are all 80-page hardcovers with dyslexia-friendly fonts and written for ages 6 to 8. Welcome to the Forest, a Lake Trip is book 2 in the series that came out last year. Readers will join Wallace and friends on a summer lake adventure with a bonus nonfiction fact sheet about lakes. Meet the Dino Nuggies, a Fry Guy story, is the third and final book in the Fry Guy series. And Badge Quest, The Incredible Escape, is book 2. When a mysterious troublemaker stirs up chaos in town, Pillow spots the perfect chance to earn his next badge. But not everything is as it seems. That's it for me. If you have any questions or would like to request ARCs, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Diane. Next, we'll hear from Jasmine Normal. Jasmine is the Children's Education and Library Marketing Coordinator at Simon & Schuster. She oversees all aspects of the Children's Award submission process and key influencer mailings. She lives in New Jersey, and her current favorite book right now is Through the Black Gate. That's a really good one. Thanks for being here today, Jasmine.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, thank you all for being here today. Like Sarah said, I'm Jasmine Normal, the Education and Library Marketing Coordinator from Simon & Schuster's Children's Publishing. We post tons of updates, new books, news, and resources on our social platforms, which you can see on this slide. We are at SSEDLIB on all platforms. I want to mention that we have a lot of really great resources and information on simonschuster.net where you can find downloadable reading, discussion guides, activity sheets, information about author visits and appearances, author award information, and resources to help with issues of censorship or book bans in your area, as well as so much more. Please check it out when you have some time. My presentation today is a fun mix of new books and the return of some highly anticipated authors. We are starting today with a ready-to-read Level 1 graphic from our Theodore Seuss Geisel Honor-winning author-illustrator Kaz Witness. And this heartwarming sequel to Worm and Caterpillar Are Friends brings a heartwarming story of having a found family. Worm and Butterfly Are Friends Always explores Worm and Butterfly trying to figure out if they can still be friends while being apart, even though Butterfly has to fly somewhere warm for winter. Ready-to-read graphic books give readers the perfect introduction to graphic novel format with easy-to-follow panels, speech bubbles with accessible vocabulary, and sequential storytelling that is spot on for beginning readers. There's even a how-to guide for reading graphic novels at the beginning of each book. Next, we have Beware the Werewolf by Andres Midoso. Desmond and Andres team up to solve a very spooky mystery with a twisty werewolf surprise in this graphic novel based on the popular story from the Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol chapter book series. Then we also have The Haunted House Next Door. A fearless 8-year-old runs his own ghost patrol. Perfect for emerging readers, this full-color graphic novel tells the spooky story better than ever before. Exit Elsewhere is the 13th installment of the exciting Dragon Kingdom of Renly graphic novel chapter book series, and Breaking the Barrier is the 7th installment of the action-packed Guardians of Horsa graphic chapter book series. Be sure to check them out. Continuing with the chapter book series, we have It Came from the Deep, where Liv Livingston and her friends are off to a weekend camp retreat in book 6 of the Spirited graphic chapter book series. Next, we have The Sneakiest in the World. Mutant Potato Rot and his friends team up for a super sneaky mission in this 3rd installment of the hilariously silly graphic chapter book series from the best-selling creator of the Narwhal and Jelly books. And then we have The Pup Days of Summer, is the 3rd book in the Cloud Puppy series. Our delightful Cloud Puppy, part cloud, and all adorable, goes on a summer adventure with her friends. Poppy the Puptective goes paw to paw with the poltergeist in the 2nd book of the Great Puptective series. Paranormal Activity is perfect for fans of Investigators and Narwhal and Jelly, now in paperback. The Big Mouse Take is the 3rd book in the Great Puptective series. This hilarious book features Poppy the Puptective on a quest to prevent an epic cake caper by a trio of mischievous mice. Continuing, we have Earth and Mooney. 2 solar system siblings navigate relatable challenges in the 1st book in the graphic chapter book series. From the creator of the viral Wawa Wiwa comic art brand, perfect for fans of Pizza and Taco and Owl Diaries. Both English and Spanish will be available September 1st. To the left, we have Mayhem at Misfit Mansion. A monster girl and her mythical housemates work together with their human friends to save the town from an unexpected new threat in this delightfully spooky and sweet graphic novel companion to Misfit Mansion. In the middle brings The Bins Break Out. The Bins family needs a plan to plan a great escape from the zoo, and quickly. In this 3rd entry in the hilarious middle grade graphic novel series about a sneaky raccoon family who live life in the trash lane from Stephanie Cook and Whitney Gardner. On the right of this slide is Barb versus the Leech Queen. Barb and Porkchop fight in a cutthroat competition in this action-packed and funny 4th book in the Barb the Last Berserker middle grade graphic novel series, perfect for fans of How to Train Your Dragon and Dogman. Moving on to middle grade, I'd like to present you The Endless Game, a slice-of-life graphic novel debut where a middle school boy gets drawn into his new town's intense summer game of Capture the Flag. Next, I'd like to show you a teaser of the art style. I think this would be perfect for fans of The Cardboard Kingdom and Craig of the Creek. With 4-star reviews, Through the Black Gate, written and illustrated by Alfredo Caceres, brings a middle grade graphic novel about an orphaned girl and a music-loving boy who venture into the land of the dead with the hope of seeing their loved ones again. As this is one of my favorite graphic novels this year, I wanted to share some of the art style with you. It is just truly beautiful. Spy Grandma by Selena Friend is this hilarious middle grade graphic novel perfect for fans of The Bad Guys and Spy School. Two kids are forced to stay with their grandma for the summer, but discover she's a retired spy, diving back into the world of espionage. This action-packed art is a must-have for your collection. Jazzy the Witch and Friend Fiasco. Jazzy gets competitive with a new girl in the second book in the middle grade graphic novel series about a young witch who struggles to find where she fits best. Perfect for fans of the OK Witch and Hookie. Then we have Holiday Inn, the graphic novel, is the second book in the best-selling and award-winning Bunnicula series, a spooky graphic novel that will send a shiver down your spine and leave you howling with laughter. Then we have The Unreachable Star. A bold defender of justice has her convictions challenged by secrets from her past coming to light in this second book in the middle grade graphic novel series by Matt McClush, set in the same imagination from his acclaimed Jack Blank series. Stuart Gibb fans, buckle in, because there are two more adventures for you to go on. Spaced Out, the graphic novel, the moon base commander has gone missing and Dash Gibson is on the case. This second mind-boggling mystery of the moon base alpha series from the beloved author Stuart Gibbs is now in graphic novel form. Then we also have Spy School Secret Service, the graphic novel, with the fifth book as Ben Ripley goes undercover in the White House to take on a spider operative determined to assassinate the president. Continuing with middle grade, The Whole World's Crazy. Amelia tackles being the new kid in a small town in this first book of this hilarious and heartwarming Eisner and Harvey Award-nominated middle grade graphic novel series, now with a brand new look. Continuing, we have the second book called What Makes You Happy. Amelia investigates her aunt's rockstar past, gets in touch with her inner superhero in this hilarious and heartwarming story. Moving along to YA. To All the Boys I Loved Before, the graphic novel, experience Laura Jean's story all over again in an all-new graphic novel format. This sparkling graphic novel adaptation is the first book in the beloved series. Next we have Pretty Evil. K-pop Demon Hunters meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a darkly funny young adult graphic novel following a teen pop star who must take up her missing mother's demon-slaying mantle and battle her way through the monster-infested world of social media influencers. Picture this: a teen daughter of an infamous serial killer must prove she isn't the one behind the recent copycat murders. Dead Girls brings this witty and laugh-out-loud funny graphic novel that's a campy feminist send-up of slashers that both celebrates and subverts classic tropes. And for our last YA graphic novel, we have Steam. A genius humanoid escapes the university lab where she was made and gets a job at a local coffee shop. This graphic novel is perfect for fans of Giant Days and Heartstopper. Finally, please follow us on social media, request our e-galleys, and visit our website simonandschuster.net and thebookpantry.net for additional resources. Subscribe to our newsletter for monthly updates, and for banned book resources, visit booksbelong.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Next, we'll hear from Danielle Presley. Danielle is the marketing associate at Penguin Young Readers. The floor is yours, Danielle.
Sarah. Today I'll be sharing a few of Penguin's favorite graphic novels. With summer sadly halfway over and school starting before you know it, I'll quickly go through some of our graphic novel offerings from earlier this year through the rest of the summer. And first up is Wallflower. This is a beautifully illustrated novel that explores themes of friendship, mental health, family pressures, and acceptance with Muslim characters and Arab culture woven throughout the story. It follows Marlena, a girl who sees flowers growing on everyone she meets, and the flowers reveal their true emotions. These flowers are invisible to others and often don't match the person's outward behavior. You can go to the next slide. After meeting Ashay, a transfer student who can also see these flowers, they uncover hidden secrets and navigate their thorny connection, blending dreams with reality. Next, please. Festook is a delectable tale of family, food, and magic that explores themes of cultural identity, family dynamics, and the diasporic experience, all woven together with humor, tenderness, and suspense. Inspired by Armenian and Persian mythology, this YA graphic novel follows 17-year-old Kata Festukian, the youngest of three dysfunctional siblings, who strikes a deal with Oz, a powerful being with a mysterious connection to his family. Next slide. The deal requires the siblings to create a dish that rivals their late father's legendary cooking to save their mother's life. As the siblings clash over what to cook, Kata has to navigate his emerging magic and family history, wagering more than just a meal to meet Oz's demands. Next, please. The Startup Squad, One for the Dogs, follows Reza and her friends as they spend the summer in Brooklyn with her grandmother. When her grandmother sprains her ankle, Reza steps in to help her run the shop and sees an opportunity to start a business selling doggy bandanas. Despite some of the challenges with her new friends and feeling left out by her original crew, Reza learns valuable lessons about friendship and entrepreneurship. Next slide. The story is filled with adventure, girl power, and vibrant illustrations, making it perfect for fans of the Babysitters Club. And then next, please. I am not too proud to admit that I originally got into the world of figure skating because of the 2016 cult classic anime Yuri on Ice, but now as a certified fan of the sport, I can say that I'm really excited for this graphic novel. It hits all the best points one would expect from a sports anime while also perfectly capturing the dynamic and competitive world of figure skating. Just Between Us by Lydia Chen. Just Between Us follows Lydia Chen, a technically perfect figure skater who has lost her passion for the sport. As she competes for a spot in the Olympics, she finds herself drawn to her rival Elaine Yi, whose emotional performances reignite Lydia's love for skating. Next slide, please. The story explores themes of sportsmanship, queer romance, and the struggle to balance passion with professional pressures. And then next, I have Landing in Place. This is a poignant coming-of-age story about an Egyptian American girl grappling with college, her family, and the political realities of her wider world. Struggling with her pre-med courses and feeling out of place among her peers, Anissa decides to take a break and visit her grandfather in Cairo. There, she embarks on a journey of self-discovery, exploring her artistic talents and confronting societal and familiar pressures. Next slide, please. The story addresses themes of identity, faith, and family, and features bold black and white illustrations that complement Anissa's journey. The novel also includes discussions on politics and class, making it a meaningful read for those interested in stories about self-discovery, um, and cultural identity. Next, please. The Girl Who Loved Monsters follows Charlotte Bissett, a young girl who discovers a mysterious book in her school library. After reading from it, strange things start happening in her town, including unusual weather and the disappearance of her favorite teacher. Charlotte suspects the new substitute teacher, Miss Fell, might be a werewolf. To set things right, she enlists her friend Molly and Griffin to help her confront the supernatural occurrences. Next slide. The graphic novel combines elements of horror and adventure, featuring a diverse cast of characters and vibrant illustrations. It's perfect for middle grade readers who enjoy spooky stories with a touch of humor. And then the next title. I am a big fan of Maggie Stiefvater and the Raven Cycle series. In fact, my very first tattoo was a quote from the finale of the series. But for everyone else who's not a huge fan and has no idea what I'm talking about, The Dream Thieves is the second graphic novel adaptation that follows Ronan Lynch, who has the ability to pull objects from his dreams, a secret that has endangered his life multiple times. Next slide. As Blue and the Raven Boys' quest to find the Welsh king Glendower hits a dead end, Ronan's dream powers may hold the key to their search. However, controlling these powers proves to be a dangerous challenge. The graphic novel blurs the line between reality and nightmare, offering a visually stunning and immersive experience. Next, please. Queens of the Crypt is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer with a dash of the Rocky Horror Picture Show in this debut novel that is a celebration of horror, queerness, and figuring out who you want to be. The story follows 17-year-old Barnaby Jones, who comes out as non-binary and soon faces a greater challenge when their best friend Fi is kidnapped by a faceless killer. Next slide. Barnaby accidentally summons the undead Queens of the Crypt through a portal in their closet, and together they must save Widow's Creek from the faceless Frightener. The novel is a campy homage to classic horror films and drag culture, featuring vibrant art and strong queer representation. And then next is Raise the Bar. This is a debut graphic novel that follows Sam Sanchez, a young girl with big dreams of becoming Chile's first weightlifting gold medalist. Despite lacking a coach and proper equipment, Sam seizes the chance to train at a high-performance center with her weightlifting hero, Eva dos Santos, even if it means going behind her parents' back. Throughout her journey, Sam makes friends and rivals and learns the importance of hard work, perseverance, and support from others. Next slide. This inspirational story highlights the challenges and triumphs of competitive sports, offering readers a candid and hopeful look at the pursuit of dreams. And then for the next two slides, I have a grouping that I'll go through quickly. These 4 books are new titles in some of our continuing series. In Neverlanders Get Lost, Bee and the Lost Ones must save Neverland from a mysterious rot threatening the magic tree, embarking on a daring quest with an old friend to find a cure before they grow up too much to return. In Paws, The Trouble with Leo, the girls of Paws have a bone to pick with a group of rival dog walkers in the 5th book of this series that's basically Babysitter's Club, but for pets. In The Adventures of Invincible Boy, Monster Mash, Stanley and Jean must build the scariest haunted house to keep their invisibility powers secret, leading to a hilarious and action-packed Halloween adventure filled with animatronic monsters and sibling dynamics. And then lastly, in the 3rd book of the Pencil and Racer series, perfect for fans of pizza and taco, Pencil makes a new friend, and Eraser learns that 3 can be a crowd. And then on the next slide, we have the next offerings in the Who HQ graphic novel series, focusing on the Hindenburg disaster, which is already out, and Nellie Bly, coming in August. And then for my next slide, before I turn it over to our next panelists, I just wanted to call out our Penguin Graphics catalog linked here on the screen, so you can either use the link or the QR code that you see. This is a brochure which highlights all of our graphic novels, including our backlist, and we try to update this seasonally so that you'll never miss any of the titles that we have to offer. But at this point, the brochure is updated to show all of our 2026 titles. And that is it. I just have one more slide. Thank you so much for being here with me and the other panelists. The PYR School and Library team has more resources on our website, such as Booklist, discussion guides, author videos, storytime activities, and more. You can just go to penguinclassroom.com, or you can reach us at any of the social media handles listed here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Next, we'll hear from Katie Sains. Katie is the Director of Sales Book Market at Oni Press. She began her publishing career in the marketing department of Lion Forge Comics, where she helped launch best-selling and critically acclaimed graphic novels such as Brenna Thumler's Sheets, Maya Kobabe's Genderqueer, and Wendy Xu and Suzanne Walker's Mooncakes before joining the Oni Press team in 2019. When she's not sharing her love of great reads, she's most likely to be found hiking with her rambunctious pup or taking on a new DIY project. Take it away, Katie.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everybody. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Katie Sains. I'm the Director of Sales for the book market here at Oni Press. Oni's been around for over 25 years. As Sarah mentioned, you know us from books like Sheets, Scott Pilgrim, Genderqueer, and so many more. And we have a great lineup for you today. So without further ado, we'll get started with our first title, which is in the middle grade space with Haunted Comic Club by Josh Tierney and Caitlin Solomon. This is one that you're going to want to make sure to have on your shelves this fall. It is a spooky mystery that serves as an inspiration for two aspiring tween artists who meet at the tween after school club and decide to make a comic together. But there's bullies and troubles at home that are interfering with their ability to finish their comic. So they're going to have to cast aside self-doubt and lean on each other to prevent the events from the past from repeating and to finally finish their creative collaboration. Next slide. One of the things that I love about this book is that a lot of middle grade features really outgoing protagonists, and this book really champions the shy kids. It normalizes that shy kind of experience of having maybe a little bit of anxiety around making new friends and being in a new place, wondering if anybody will share the same interests as you. And it shows that there are other kids out there who have those same interests, be they a little bit more quiet, and they're there to make friends with. So it does include some deeper themes about anxiety, bullying, social isolation, mental health, and overcoming self-doubt. Next slide. This book is perfect for aspiring young comics creators who dream of being graphic novelists, but maybe need a little more encouragement to overcome the daunting task of starting from scratch. Next slide. So definitely hand this one to fans of the Cartoonist Club, Cat Kid, Comic Club, Sheets, and Indoor Kid when it releases this October. Next slide. Our next title today is in the YA space, and it just released earlier in July. It's been winning hearts everywhere, and that is Fiona Marchbank's Ladies of the Night. So this is the story of a standoffish but highly skilled lady knight named Seraphina, who very reluctantly agrees to take on a mentee in the small and unpromising but very enthusiastic Squire George. Now, both of these women will have to learn from each other to find success in the trials and tournaments ahead. Next slide. So this does take place in medieval times. It normalizes the queer experience throughout history. The Seraphina, the lady knight George idolizes, is a married lesbian. Her best friend in Squire School is non-binary. All genders and identities are just inherently accepted in this world. Next slide. So you can expect to find all manner of medieval fun here. You've got jousting, archery, polearm, horseback riding, you name it, all taking center stage. Next slide. In this world where these knights are like fashionable, glamorous women who are the celebrities of their world, and like society just idolizes them. The art here is truly phenomenal. You're going to be poring over these pages that are just such fun and so vibrant. Next slide. As I mentioned, this one has been a hit for us so far. We've been receiving tons of raving reviews from everyone from the New York Times to Booklist to School Library Journal, reviewers on NetGalley, Edelweiss, you name it. I guarantee you're going to love this Grumpy Sunshine mentorship story. Next slide. So hand this one to fans of Gwen and Art Are Not in Love, My Lady Jane, Squire, and of course, A Knight's Tale. And as I mentioned, it is out now. Our next slide today has our next YA title, which is Yuletide, Curse of the Winter Witch by George Northey and Rochelle Aragno. This is one that I would describe as Goonies meets Hocus Pocus by way of Monster Squad. So it follows three teens in a Christmas-obsessed town of Christmas, Pennsylvania, as they unwittingly unleash a host of holiday horrors upon their town, right in time for Yuletide. So now they have to face off against these monsters and face their inner demons along with them. Next slide. One of the things that I think makes this book so compelling is that the holiday horrors these teens are facing are actually based on real Yuletide lore from across the world. Next slide. So you'll see monsters like the Yule Cat from Iceland, the Grey Mare from Wales, the Yule Lads, also from Iceland, the Scarecrow called Hans Trapp from France, and the Yuletide Witch known as Perchka from Germany. Next slide. George Northey really did a ton of research into the backstory of all of these different characters and played with that lore in new and fun ways. So this story has a lot of humor, heart, and holiday horror, which is sure to win over the teens in your community. Make sure to grab it in September and enjoy it all spooky season long and all holiday season long. Next slide. We're moving into our adult titles with this one. So don't be fooled by the title. Dead Teenagers is for adults, but it's by GLAAD Award-nominated writer Jude Ellison S. Doyle and Eisner Award-nominated artist Caitlin Yarsty. So readers are going to love this 90s obsessed horror story about 5 friends who are stuck living and dying in prom night, 1997. Next slide. So every time they relive prom night, the ways that they die become increasingly more and more insane until something finally breaks the cycle. And what they find is that what's on the other side of prom night is even more disturbing. Next slide. So this really is an ode to the 90s. Think Groundhog Day meets prom night. It's perfect for fans of time loop stories like Palm Springs, Happy Death Day to You, and classic horror. Next slide. So this one will look at look at growing up through the lens of terror and satire. So the very fake and very real horrors of high school take center stage. Next slide. Our next title today is the Eisner-nominated Crownsville by Rodney Barnes and Elia Benetti. This is based on the real-life Crownsville Black Psychiatric Hospital in Annapolis, Maryland, which was finally closed in 2004 after decades of controversy and disrepair. And Rodney Barnes actually grew up right around Crownsville, and he had family members who worked at the hospital, knew people who were patients there, and the fear of Crownsville always really loomed large in his childhood. So he used his personal experience as inspiration for the story. Next slide. And the story itself follows a reporter whose dying mother confesses a secret about the experiments she took part in as a nurse at Crownsville. So he teams up with a local police detective to start an investigation into the recent deaths at the shuttered Black mental asylum. And what they find is that these once patients now live on as poltergeist, inflicting pain as revenge. Next slide. So Crownsville very delicately balances both the pain and history of the real place with the chills and thrills of the story, looking at generational horror through the lens of a supernatural thriller. Next slide. And as I mentioned, this is a 2026 Eisner Award nominee. It's a 2026 Dwayne McDuffie Award for Diversity in Comics nominee, and it's received a starred review from Booklist and glowing reviews from other trade and comics press. Next slide. Keeping with that supernatural theme, we have A Ghost Arm Made of Angry Ghosts by Oliver Mertz and Alex Diodo. So this is a superhero whodunit set in 1990s Washington, D.C. So expect to find all that like angsty punk rock culture alive and well here in this supernatural story. Next slide. So this takes place in a reality where superpowers are taken in stride. And our main character, Ari, is 16 years old with the power to turn invisible. Next slide. So following the suspicious death of a local super's doppelganger brother and the town's weather witch, Ari and his friends begin investigating the murders only to begin to wonder if Ari himself is responsible. Next slide. This one is going to keep you guessing. It's perfect for fans of The Human Target, Catwoman Lonely City, and Watchmen, and releases this September. Next slide. Our next title takes you very far away from the Earth in Moondeer by French cartoonist Johan Cavage. This is a mostly wordless graphic novel. It follows a lone moondeer who travels the galaxy trying to find a fated haven to hatch his egg. Next slide. And all the while, he is dodging a mysterious pursuer intent on stopping him in his mission. So you're going to really be enthralled by this artwork. It highlights the power of visual storytelling and a tale that looks at themes of interstellar exploration, fanaticism, implicit bias, and the danger of deceptive beauty. Next slide. I gotta say, this is one of the most surprising books I've read this year. I won't spoil it for you, but the ending is one that I did not see coming. We just put it up on NetGalley last week or so, and the twist is taking a lot of readers by surprise in the best possible way. So definitely make sure to check this one out when it releases this fall. Next slide. And I will also say, don't be fooled by this super cute artwork. The ending does get a little bit violent, so keep this one in the hands of your older readers. Next slide. Our next 2 titles today are from Magnetic Press, our sister company who specializes in award-winning European comics. And the first title is Peaceful Remission by Jonathan Dijob Nkondo, whose name you might recognize from the hit animated series Scavenger's Reign. Next slide. This is the story of an elderly couple living alone in space when a nighttime disruption forces them to confront the emotional distance between themselves in their relationship. Next slide. It's a very character-driven story where space serves as a metaphor for the internal distance between the 2 protagonists and reflects the isolation they feel in their relationship. Next slide. And our last title for you today is Silent Jenny from multiple award-winning comics creator Matthew Bebley. And this one takes place in a world where resources are depleted. Next slide. Where a solitary researcher named Jenny is on a mission to reverse the extinction of bees by shrinking herself down to the size of a bug in hopes of finding a dead bee so she can use that DNA to bring the species back to life. Next slide. This is a very haunting and hopeful dystopia. It sounds pretty grim, but it does look at humanity's ability to innovate. So there is that hope to it. And this one releases in October. Next slide. And that is all I've got for you today. Feel free to reach out to me at any point with any questions or to receive ARCs of any of our books. And I will pass it back to Sarah to introduce our next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie. Finally, we'll hear from Jen Chan. Following her passion as a consummate reader and a lover of art, graphic design, and books, Jen began her career working in bookstores soon after graduating college. She moved into the publishing world in 2001, working in trade sales for W.W. Norton, PRH Client Services, and for a number of independent art publishers. She is currently the Executive Director of Sales and Marketing at Fantagraphics Books. Thank you so much for joining us, Jen.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'll be presenting highlights from our fall list. Please note that age ranges are included on each title slide, along with the on-sale dates in red. This year, 2026, marks our 50th anniversary. In celebration, we have a strong selection of books for the fall. We're following the same approach that we did for the winter and summer seasons, in that we have curated the authors and titles that best represent our history and publishing program, both past, present, and future. Our first book is Requiem for Gaza. In the spring of 2025, the cartoonist Joe Sacco, author of Palestine and Footnotes in Gaza, and Chris Hedges, the former Middle East bureau chief for the New York Times, traveled to Cairo, where they interviewed 29 Palestinian families who had recently left Gaza. In Requiem for Gaza, they used the experience and stories of these families to detail the crucible of the genocide, the loss of homes and communities, the appalling death toll among friends and loved ones, the constant displacement, the terror of indiscriminate killing, the hunger and deprivation, the obliteration of all that was known and familiar, and the struggle to cope with the callous indifference of a world that continues to supply Israel with weapons despite its wholesale destruction of Gaza and mass slaughter. Requiem for Gaza, like their New York Times bestseller, Days of Destruction, Days of Revolt, combines comics and single images drawn by Sacco within the narrative written by Hedges. Hedges' vivid prose and Sacco's visceral images complement each other and together paint a portrait of dignity and suffering under genocide. The collective power of the individual stories that chronicle the first day of the genocide, the forced evacuation of homes, the targeted assassinations, the false hopes engendered by ceasefires, the dislocation and alienation of exile, the brutal killing and hasty burial of family members, and the humiliation of living under tarps without clean food and water bring every aspect of the genocide to life. Set against this horror are stories of self-sacrifice and compassion that show how Palestinians not only clung to their humanity, but morally triumphed over their killers. Fantagraphics is incredibly proud to be publishing this title, which will be released in October. You may have already heard, but the big news we have for this year is we are launching a new imprint devoted exclusively to East Asian comics called Takumi Graphics. Takumi is a Japanese word that was suggested by our longtime translator and friend Rachel Thorne. Takumi refers to excellence, skillfulness, ingeniousness, as well as a person who embodies those qualities. It implies craftsmanship, and it's a character we feel exemplifies the aesthetic caliber of the books that will compromise this imprint, works of mastery and vision. We will be launching the imprint officially in late summer with Eudori's Lovers of the Empire Volume 1. 2 more titles will release shortly after in early September with On Their Front Lines Volume 1 by Marina Lisa Komiya and the paperback edition of Shumura Takako's Wandering Sun Volumes 1 and 2. And I will be presenting the next 3 titles coming this fall. First up, coming in October, is Wandering Cat's Cage by Akane Torakai. In Torakai's latest book, it is the near future. Only a few women are still able to menstruate, and even fewer men will be born to them. Reproduction is limited to medical intervention controlled from on high, and the structures and lives of the past hold no weight. They are only hinted at through the remaining scraps of a world that no longer exists. Life can be good, though, if you fall in line, and the women of the city live bright, happy, tightly controlled lives. But complete obedience isn't for everyone. For the women across the river who live in a rundown shanty town, viewing the opulence of the city from afar each night, life is different. It is humble and often dangerous, but it is free. It is here that Sanada, a young acupuncturist, lives with the mysterious Raiho, the only male she's ever met, and who sells himself to the rich women who sneak across the river for something they've never experienced. The two form a small family, taking in other young women ousted from the city. But a real living, breathing male might be too precious to leave to the shabby streets. When Raiho is kidnapped at gunpoint and taken to the breeding program in the city, Sanada must join with the other outcasts to try and rescue him and learn the difficult truths of love, self-accusation, society, community, safety, and the future itself. Master mangaka Akane Torakai has produced a stunning work of relational science fiction through a gender-bent looking glass. Torakai pulls no punches, examining the deeply messy subjects of our day: sexuality, gender dynamics, romantic love, familial trauma, freedom, and control through immaculately realized settings and character-rich, emotive body language. Next coming in November is the Ultra Power Mongol Invasion by Shintaro Kaigo. Another new Kaigo book is always a cause for celebration. He is one of our most successful manga artists that we publish. You know him from his 2-book series, Dementia 21, and last year's short story collection, Brain Damage. This one is an exciting book for Kaigo fans. The story is an alternate history of Western civilization. But instead of a world being powered by gas and oil and coal, instead what powers civilization is the severed limbs of ancient Asian gods. It's a completely absurdist vision where it tracks the stages of humanity's evolution, from the age of exploration to the Industrial Revolution, all the way up to World War II. He just follows his absurd premise that escalates further as people try to tame these giant hands and limbs. And in classic Kaigo fashion, things just start to go completely out of control. It's another beautiful display of absurd scenarios and a perfect combination of his obsession with body horror and dark humor and absurdity, while at the same time it's quite biting satire of humanity's greed and hubris. This book really brings together everything readers have known and loved about Kaigo's work and dials it up even further. We're excited to unleash this one into the world, and there's even more titles to come. Coming in September, we have Comic Club by Yi Yang. Besties Yang and Li are nearing the end of their time in middle school and must face a familiar decision: stick around their small Chinese mountain town or set their sights to the big city. On a lark, they join their school's comic club, a ragtag band of nerds obsessed with what lies beyond the reaches of the stars. when one day the group spies strange glowing lights in the mountains and hikes out to investigate, what they find will forever change their lives. The English language debut of Chinese cartoonist Yi Yang, Comic Club is a gripping coming-of-age story rendered in a kinetic, hyper-detailed style. Amidst the tantalizing mystery and suspense, Yang interweaves her story with hard-hitting themes of broken families, the bonds of friendship, and the need to carve out one's path in life. Next is Nirvana is Here, the newest book by German cartoonist Michael Ross. Two German siblings, 12-year-old Tam and 14-year-old Dennis, encounter a young Vietnamese woman in trouble in a flea market parking lot. When Tam's spy movie-obsessed schoolmate Alex discovers an abandoned backpack with a photo of a happy couple with Tam's address on the back, it will lead the two to discover a severed finger. Worried, Tam searches for the desperate woman, aided by her reluctant brother, and eventually finds Hao Bin, who escaped from her kidnapper, who's still tracking her down. Drawn to Hao Bin, Tam vows to save her, even if she has to break her stern but loving mom's rules, dodge the bad guys and wild chases throughout the Berlin streets, and combine forces with their tough chick neighbor, an elderly retired actress, and a rollerblading girl gang, among others, to do so. In Ross's empathetic, loose but controlled lines, cartoonishly expressive kids interact against and within the realistically depicted urban environments, given texture and grit by screen tones. Nirvana is Here is a contemporary crime thriller that has adventure, diasporic, coming-of-age, and love story elements, set in Berlin's working-class Lichtenberg district against a backdrop of very current social issues. Next coming in November is Bedford Street, a collection of short stories by New Zealand cartoonist Ross Murray. An alcoholic beneficiary is tasked with looking after his teenage son for a weekend. A nurse is faced with a violent altercation after her late-night shift. A single mother struggles with the sudden onset of crippling back pain while trying to keep her drug-addicted former partner at bay. A homeless man tries to readjust to life on the outside after a period of incarceration. A young father succumbs to boredom and lust. These are some of the lives of the inhabitants of Bedford Street, an all too familiar place where those at the less fortunate end of the ever-widening spectrum of inequality reside. People leading modest lives in challenging circumstances where disenfranchisement is high and a sense of community is low. All packed together and teeming with a chaotic energy, some submitting to their worst impulses, others trying their best despite it all. Bedford Street forms a mosaic image of lives lived in the maelstrom of a cost-of-living crisis, increasing rates of unemployment, and an age of individualism where isolation and alienation is rife. Murray's skillful storytelling and combination of pathos and dark humor explores how we navigate life and care for one another in a disconnected society. Up next is Sherlock Time, the latest new addition to our Alberto Brescia library. This title, published in 1958, is widely considered a breakthrough in Brescia's art style, which becomes increasingly experimental and expressionistic throughout his work. This is also the first serious collaborative work between Hector Germain Osterfeld and Brescia. In Sherlock Time, a retiree buys a beautiful home for much too good a deal. There have been strange disappearances, but the trap is far stranger than a simple haunting. Fortunately, a mysterious man saves him. The two team up, outwitting aliens, solving seemingly supernatural crimes, and investigating cursed objects. These episodic adventures, ranging from sci-fi to horror to mystery, ran concurrently with Osterheld's legendary comic serial, The Eternaut, and set the stage for their masterpiece, Mort Cinder. These are fun, science fiction, crime, mystery stories by two of the most acclaimed and influential artists in the world. And last but not least, we have the first volume in our new Corto Maltese library series. This is, of course, Hugo Pratt, one of the most recognizable and internationally acclaimed European artists in history. And this first volume is some of the most enduring and influential adventure comics of all time. There are 12 original Corto Maltese stories in total, and this volume contains the first two that introduce Corto to the world. He is a sailor and a fortune hunter, and he travels around the world in a hybrid of swashbuckling adventure and historical fiction that has been imitated ever since, but nothing beats the original. And now, for the first time, we will be publishing the series in America in English and in full color. The color editions are ones that Pratt supervised himself before he passed. This will be a 6-volume series in total of one of the most popular European comics ever created. Corto has been spun off into other mediums. There's a legendary Corto opera, and history has shown that this character is one that filmmakers and storytellers cannot seem to stop chasing around. A couple of years ago, we were told that Netflix is interested in developing a Corto TV series, which prompted us to produce a Corto primer called Fables of Venice in paperback, which we released a few months ago and which has sold so well out of the gate, we are triggering a reprint because we're now sold out. If any of it still comes to pass, who knows? But when the time comes, we plan to be ready for it with the complete library of Pratt's magnum opus that is going to look better than any English language reader has ever seen. That's it for me. Thanks again to all who registered and for tuning in. All the titles in my presentation are available on Edelweiss and NetGalley, where you can download digital galleys and previews. Please feel free to contact me if you want to join our catalog mail list or with any review copy requests or questions you may have. I also send out newsletters for both our adult and our children's titles, so please get in touch if you'd like to sign up. And be sure to check us out and follow us on social media as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, Jen, and a big thank you to all of today's presenters. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's slide presentation, title list, certificate of completion, and video recording. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit www.booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. You can also find out about the latest webinars on our social media channels. Visit us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. One more huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, Andrews McMeel, Simon & Schuster, Penguin Random House, Oni Press, and Fantagraphics. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.